This is Nvidia's new GTX 750 Ti, a mid-range graphics card that's set to retail for just £115 in the UK and $149 in the US. Unusually, Nvidia is using the GTX 750 Ti to launch its brand new GM107 Maxwell architecture, the follow-up to the Kepler architecture that's powered the last two generations of the company's GPU lineup. Maxwell is still based on the same 28nm fabrication process as Kepler, yet promises much greater power savings and performance. Nvidia is claiming up to twice the performance per watt and twice the performance of the GTX 550 Ti. What that means for you is a card that is smaller, quieter, and uses just 60 watts of power without the need for a 6-pin power connector. This makes it an ideal fit for small form factor PCs like Steam machines, or as an upgrade for cheap off-the-shelf computers from the likes of Dell and HP that feature small power supplies without extra power connectors. But does Maxwell's focus on efficiency mean it hasn't got the chops to run the latest games? Amazingly, no. Nvidia claims the 750 Ti matches or betters the performance of its old flagship GPU, the GTX 480, and in our testing, we found it to be a great performer. And of course, it spanks the hell out of Intel's integrated graphics. No, you aren't going to be running Crysis 3 at ultra settings with this thing, but it will handle most games at 1080p on high or very high settings at very good frame rates. On our Ivy Bridge i5 powered test rig, we saw averages of 61 frames per second in Tomb Raider, 63 frames per second in Bioshock Infinite, 52 frames per second in Battlefield 4, and 45 frames per second in Metro Last Light. And if you were thinking of plonking down a hefty £429 or $499 for an Xbox One just to play Titanfall, why not just chuck a 750 Ti into an old PC at home? It runs the beta of the new mech-based shooter at a cool 58 frames per second at 1080p with 2x anti-aliasing on. Not even the Xbox One can do that. The GTX 750 Ti runs cool, runs incredibly quiet, and is fantastic value. You can chuck this thing into pretty much any old PC with a spare PCI Express slot and run the latest games without having to worry about crazy cooling or if your power supply can take the strain. Plus, you're getting all the great stuff that comes with an Nvidia card, the brilliant driver support, shadow play for recording gameplay clips, and GeForce experience for one-click setup of your games. If you're after a great performing mid-range budget card without any of the fuss, there's no better option than the GTX 750 Ti right now. High-end users hold tight. Hopefully this is a sign of great things to come from Nvidia's brand new Maxwell chips too.